He must climb down this slippery slope. He must somehow get across this raging whitewater river that's coming through this canyon. And he's got to form some sort of a rope bridge or something to get across that water. And then as he's coming up to this next mountain peak, angry natives appear, aboriginals, and they're firing arrows at him, poison arrows. And he somehow dodges around them, and he achieves his second goal. And then he sees a higher goal that he must aspire to. And as he's going down to that goal, then suddenly lava comes bursting out of this dormant volcano that turns active, and a big meteor comes from outer space, burning and threatening to hit him and wipe out mankind, and he has to solve that, whatever, you know? It gets worse and worse and worse as he achieves higher and higher goals and challenges. No conflict, no story. Every story has to have conflict and change. Okay, now let's look at this second shape of a story. That's all rising action. Rising dramatic action, not a string of pearls. Now the other one's called the hinge. And the difference is this one over here on the mountain peak, I'll draw that back again. He's standing in the ordinary world here. This is ordinary world like everybody else. And he sees something that he wants to escape from the ordinary and to pursue the extraordinary. Now, on the hinge story, at the beginning of the story, the character is in the ordinary world. But he doesn't have a goal. He just wants to get along. Can't we all just get along? But something goes wrong. And the action starts going downhill. One mistake after another. He makes one mistake. Or bad luck happens to him, and one bad thing happens after another, till you get to the very bottom, called the nadir, N-A-D-I-R. That's the dark moment. All is lost. And he, by his own choices, by his own sacrifices, he makes a choice that turns the action around, and you come up and bring him back to normal life and end the story right there. If you go on after that saying how nice he was and what an upstanding citizen and how happy his marriage is, that is anticlimactic. That is boring. So you don't tell it. This is a common shape for testimonies. When I wrote for Teen Challenge, everyone had a step downward into some addiction or perversion. And then when they get to the very bottom, they make a choice and they repent. The prodigal son is a hinge story. But interestingly, the hinge is also a great shape for comedy. Because something about us is cruel. And when somebody starts to have bad things happening, we laugh. If it's done, there's a very small line between tragedy and comedy. If you want to see proof of that, watch that terrible junky TV show called America's Funniest Home Videos. Oh. And you're just, I can't believe I'm watching this. Everyone is the same thing. It's a series of people falling or getting hit in the groin. But it's still funny. You can't help but laugh. So sometimes Christians will tell you, if you want to write about them, write their story, say, oh, leave out all those bad things before I found Christ. Tell about my ministry and my children and all these wonderful blessings. Don't give the devil the glory. Give God the glory. No, we don't care about all that. That's not a story. We care about the things when things are going wrong. That's when it's interesting. They're coming out with a movie about Nikki Cruz. That's interesting. That book was made 50 years ago. I hope they don't mess it up.